So the semifinal games are over. Sugar Bowl and Rose Bowl are over. Both were blowouts. Did not expect that. I expected at least the Sugar Bowl to be a close one. And, let's just go over it real quick. Rose Bowl is how I expected it. I didn't expect Notre Dame to even really compete with Alabama. I expected this to be a blowout, and it was, though they did do better than I thought they would. The game was 31-14 in the end. I mean, Alabama let off the gas in the fourth quarter, really, and didn't really try and score all that much. Notre Dame did get some scores, did get a score in the end of the game, toward the end of the game in garbage time. Didn't really matter in the end. And Ohio State ended up beating Clemson, which was the biggest shock of the day for me. You know what? And you know what? No, that's not even the biggest shock. The biggest shock is not even that they won. You know, if you would have told me Ohio State got the win over Clemson, I would have been like, okay, yeah, I could see that happening. But winning by 21, I mean, my gosh. Justin Fields set a record for passing touchdowns. He threw 6 touchdown passes tonight, and which is a Sugar Bowl record. Wow, he's got a messed up rib, so he was in pain the entire game after that hit. And he still played like an elite level quarterback who would do amazing in the NFL. He's got a bright future ahead of him. Trevor Lawrence did not have a great game today. Just not a good game at all for him. Ohio State wins this game 49-28. I mean, that's dominating. That's a 21-point win that I did not expect out of Ohio State. So our our national title game is Alabama-Ohio State, which, after the way I've seen, how good Alabama is. I mean, Alabama is a great football team with three players on the Heisman list. To win the Heisman, it's probably going to be Mac Jones. But it honestly should be DeAndre Swift, I think. I think he should win it because he's amazing. And then there's, Ohio State, which has a elite level quarterback like Justin Fields, who also should be in the Heisman candidacy, but isn't for some reason. I understand they haven't played enough games this year, but why he's not there is criminal to me. Now, congratulations to both teams, to both winners. Alabama, I expected you to win. Not really surprised that you won, but congratulations. Ohio State, definitely didn't think you would win this game. I thought, of course, you probably had a chance, but that you were probably going to get edged over like you did last year. Lose in a close one, and it would have been down to the wire. It was not down to the wire. It was complete domination by Ohio State all game long. I mean, Trevor Lawrence couldn't do anything. He got sacked a few times. He was running for his life. It wasn't even close. What else do I have to say? Let's talk about Brian Kelly. Let's talk about Brian Kelly and how delusional that man is. He's in a press conference after this game, making excuses, saying why they lost. He's like, this is what he said. He said, we're losing. Yeah, we lost, but we lost to an elite team. Yes, elite team. A team. You are not an elite team. You just proved you're not an elite team. You lost 2 games in a row by double digits. It doesn't matter if you lost to Clemson and Alabama by multiple points or by double-digit points or because they're elite. What is your excuse there? What's your point? And then he goes, yeah, we're gonna, people, as much as you may hate it, as much as the media may hate that we're gonna keep winning. What is with you saying the media hates you? The media does not hate Notre Dame. The media loves Notre Dame. The media loves to put Notre Dame at a high position every year when they don't deserve it. When, Notre Dame will win games. They'll win 10, 11 games a year. And against Pittsburgh and Georgia Tech and Louisville and nobody teams, Bowling Green, of course they'll win those games. But when they play teams like Clemson or Michigan or Georgia or Alabama, they can't win. And that gets proved every time that they're in a major game. They can't win. So I'm tired of Brian Kelly's excuses. You don't hear other coaches from other teams making excuses for why they got blown out by Clemson or got blown out by Alabama. They don't make excuses. They accept defeat. They understand that their team is not good enough to compete with a team like that, and they move on. Brian Kelly complains about it, and then he threatens to boycott the semifinal game because he wants to let fans into the crowd or let fans into the stadium. That's why they moved the Rose Bowl game from Pasadena to Arlington. And so I guess he got what he wanted there. But he's in the press conference. We're going to keep winning games, or we're going to put ourselves in this position every year. Yeah, you're going to keep winning 10, 11 games, and then you're going to lose in the postseason like you do every year. You're going to lose the only conference title game you've ever been in by a significant margin. Yes, you beat Clemson earlier in the year, but that was without their star quarterback. That was without their top defensive guys. I mean, of course you could run all over a team that doesn't have their top guys on the team. Once they got those players back, it wasn't even a competition anymore. Alabama is a way better team than Notre Dame is, and Ohio State just proved that they're a way better team than Notre Dame as well. When it comes to the playoff teams this year, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, they're the top three teams. Not in that exact order, but those are the top teams. It'd probably be Alabama, Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, and then there's a long stretch where there's nobody, and then there's Notre Dame and Texas A&M and Georgia and Cincinnati and all those other teams that were in the top 10. Brian Kelly is like, oh, we're going to keep recruiting at a high level. Yeah, you're going to keep recruiting the 10th ranked recruiting class, 15th ranked recruiting class, while Alabama and Clemson are going to be recruiting at 1, 2, 3. Ohio State's going to be recruiting at 1, 2, 3. Those are the top three teams in the recruiting class for 2021. Alabama 1, Ohio State 2, Clemson 3. Where's Notre Dame? 10. Again. So yeah, you're going to keep recruiting at a high level, but when it comes down to games like this, you're not going to win. If you were put into a conference like the SEC or the Big Ten, you wouldn't win as many games as you would being an independent or in the ACC, because the only good ACC team is Clemson, and you lost to them. The only elite level Big Ten team right now is Ohio State, but there's other good teams in the Big Ten. You would have a much tougher time in a conference like that. When you play when you're an independent team and you don't play in a schedule and you can schedule whatever games you want, of course you can win 11, 12 games a year. I'm tired of Brian Kelly's excuses. I wish I could tell him to shut up and get over it and move on, or just retire, the dumb drunk. I hate his stupid face. I can't stand him. I'm sorry. I can't stand him. I hate the way he complains and he makes excuses that no one else makes excuses like he does. And I got tired of it. I'm getting tired of it. Now, as much as I hate Brian Kelly, I have a lot of respect for the Notre Dame players. I mean, Ian Book, though he's not an elite level quarterback like a Justin Fields or a Trevor Lawrence or Mac Jones, he is a very good quarterback. He will go in. He will go in the NFL draft. He'll probably be picked in the 4th or 5th round. He'll probably go to a decent team. He won't start wherever he goes, but he will. He's dangerous with his legs. He can throw. He's a good quarterback. He's exactly the type of game managing quarterback that won't work in the NFL, but he will go to the NFL and he'll probably get a chance. Probably won't make it very far, but you never know. We'll see what happens. As for Ohio State, I mean, this just proves, this game against Clemson just proves how far and away, how much better Ohio State is than any other team in the Big Ten. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, you could say Northwestern, you could say Wisconsin, or you could say Michigan or Michigan State or Penn State or whatever team is good. Ohio State is by far and away better than all of those teams. And it's not even close. Ohio State just cemented today with, going to the national championship next week against Alabama, and having the number 2 recruiting class in the 2021 class. I mean, you can just tell how much better they are when their recruiting class finished 2, and the Big Ten team closest to them is Michigan at 10. I mean, it's or 9 or whatever it is. It's not even close when it comes to competition in the Big Ten. And Ohio State just cemented again tonight that they're going to be dominating the Big Ten for a long time. They're going to win the Big Ten title probably every year unless one team can make them slip up on a game or two. They're probably going to go to the Big Ten championship next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that, and maybe one of those times they'll actually lose. But they're a dominant team. They're one of the most winningest programs in college football. They're not the most winningest program in football. They're, I believe, second or third to Michigan and Notre Dame, and Alabama's up there too. But I mean, Ohio State just proved how much better they are than almost every team, and they'll have a chance to prove that they're better than every team against Alabama next week. So that's what I think of the playoffs. Other games that happened today was not really that exciting. Or the Georgia-Cincinnati game was really exciting. That was down to the wire, ended with I believe it was like a 54-yard field goal or 51-yard field goal for Georgia to win. What was it? 54-yard field goal for Georgia to win, 22-21. They were down almost the whole game. They were up 10-7 at one point. They went down at the beginning of the game 7-0. Cincinnati scoring first, and then it was 7-7, and then it was 10-7 Georgia, and then it was 14-10 Cincinnati, and they had that lead going into halftime. The whole second half, they dominated pretty much. Ended up going up 21-10, and at that point, it was all Georgia after that. Getting a field goal, or what was it? Was it a field goal? Yeah. Man, I'm confused now. Or, no, that's what happened. They scored a touchdown, went for 2, didn't get it. It was 21-16. They got a field goal, made it 21-19, and then down by 2, kicked the game-winning field goal with like 6 or 7 seconds left. And then they got the safety. That's right. It was 22-21, and then, thank you, I forgot about that. Cincinnati had the ball in their own end zone because their kickoff, they didn't do good on the kickoff, or Georgia did a great kick, squib kick, or whatever they call it, and it got down to like the 2. Cincinnati was in the end zone with the final play left, pretty much all or nothing on that one play, and it ended up being a sack for a safety. Georgia wins 24-21. Great game. Very entertaining. Was the most entertaining game of the day, honestly. Because the semifinal games were very boring, though there was some exciting offensive plays. Alabama had a lot of great catches. Ohio State had a lot of great catches. That throw from Justin Fields to, I don't even remember who it was. Chris Olave, I believe it was. for like a 56-yard pass or 54-yard pass or whatever it was. I mean, he threw that so far. 56 yards, pretty much 56 yards with a broken rib. That is ridiculous. That is talent right there, and picture perfect accuracy, right in the end zone. Made Clemson look like fools on that play. Ohio State looks like a very dangerous team, like they do every year. But this year, they're probably even more dangerous. And you know what? You know what the really scary thing about Ohio State is that this is a young team. This is a young team. A lot of freshmen on this team. Pretty much as young as Michigan. The only difference is Michigan's awful. Ohio State is amazing. And with a team this young, they're just going to get better within the next 2-3 years. If they don't win the national title against Alabama next year or next week, they're going to win. They're probably going to win it the year after Ohio State or the year after that. One of those years. I mean, they're probably going to have to fight Alabama for it again, but they'll get it. I guarantee it. They'll have their first national title since 2014 when the playoffs became a thing, and Ohio State is going to win every game every year. Ryan Day, congratulations to Ryan Day for coaching a great team, only having one loss in your second year as a head coach, even though you only played half a season this year. It doesn't matter. You just shut up all of the doubters. I never doubted Ohio State for a second, and there's video proof of that. I never doubted Ohio State for a second because I'm a Michigan fan, and as a Michigan fan, I never doubt how good they are. So I know exactly what it's like to lose to Ohio State Clemson fans. So don't get too discouraged. Though Clemson has a much higher point that they're expected to get to than Michigan is. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about the semifinals. Not really entertaining at all. I mean, 17-point win by Alabama over Notre Dame and a 21-point win over Clemson for Ohio State. So, if we see these teams play today, if we see Alabama and Ohio State play the way they did against each other today, like how they did today against each other next week, I think it'll be a great game. But I think in the end, Ohio State will come out on top. Now, you never know what will happen. I mean, Alabama's Alabama. You can't say that you're definitely going to beat Alabama. You can't say that you're definitely going to beat Ohio State. Though, I know. I said that I never doubted Ohio State. I don't doubt Ohio State. I just didn't think they would win. So I'm a little surprised, but I'm also not surprised, if that makes any sense. I'm more shocked than anything that it was a blowout. But congratulations to both teams, and congratulations to Ohio State, and this is coming from a Michigan fan, so that's quite the compliment there. Ohio State's good, Alabama's good, Clemson's good too, and Trevor Lawrence, good luck at the Jaguars, man.